All right. And good morning. It's Lupe, Classic Hits, 92.7, 95.3. A new class is on the way. And now is your opportunity to learn more about how to be a part of the next wave of volunteers serving Washington County as Downeast Hospice volunteers. Joining us in the Street Beat studio, Barbara Barnett. And you have a guest today.
Good morning.
That you didn't tell me about?
Yes, I am. Ariel Richardson, introduce yourself, please.
Sure. My name is Ariel. I'm a hospice volunteer, and I work in the Downeast Hospice Volunteers office now.
If I would have known, I would have prepared some questions for her about how she and why she got involved with hospice.
I'll jump in.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I've always had an interest in volunteering and being a part of my community, and hospice is an integral part of that. So I took the training last fall, and I was a little on the fence about it because I did not know if I was the right fit. I didn't know what to expect, and I was nervous. So I called Barb the night before the training started, which I do not recommend, and ended up taking the training, and it was incredible. I learned a lot. It helped me a lot in my personal life, and it gave me a greater appreciation of my elders and the people around me and our community.
So you said you called her the night before, like to register and everything?
Exactly.
It was last
It was
minute,
a whirlwind.
I was thrilled. I said, just show up tomorrow at 10 a.m. We'll fill out paperwork. We need people in the community, and if they can't decide until the last minute, we'll make it work.
And she must have done a great job.
Oh, she's on board now.
Yeah, nice.
You know.
With some great hospice clients.
All right. So what inspired Downeast Hospice volunteers to offer this training, and why now?
Well, we do a training twice a year. We do one in the spring in Machias and one up in this area in Calais every fall. And right now we are very short of volunteers at this end of the county. We do not have a single volunteer in Baileyville. We do have some volunteers in Princeton and Grand Lake Stream, but not enough. And we need volunteers in Robbinston, Perry, Eastport, Lubec.
Wow.
If we had Alexander, Cooper, Charlotte, if we had one person show up who could offer 2 hours a week from every single one of those towns, Ariel and I would go out on the corner and do a tap dance.
And I think what's really important to note is, and one thing that I learned, you don't need to put in hours and hours and hours and hours every week. You know, there's one person that I see where I go for 30 minutes a week and just hold her hand. There's someone else I see that we're a little more active. We go out, do some activities, but it fits in, working a full-time schedule. It's still something that's compatible.
Yeah.
Nice. So can you walk us through what a typical day of training looks like? What can we expect?
Well, we start at 10 o'clock, which I think is a very reasonable time, and we usually try to end around 2. And during that time, we cover different mandatory topics, and we have lots of breaks. We have a lunchtime. It's very informal. I want people to, on the second day, to get up and think, I can't wait to get there. It's informal. And Ariel, did you feel comfortable at the trainings?
I had a great time, genuinely. And one of the things I valued the most was the conversation between the other people in the training, because illness and death are things that touch everyone. They are as much a part of life as being born. And so everyone has an experience that they've grown through and has given them challenges, and I learned a lot from talking with everyone.
And the important thing is any of the sharing that goes on at these classes, it's totally confidential. It doesn't leave that room, and no one is pressured to share. They can just sit and listen if they'd like. Yeah.
Right. So you cover topics like grief, dementia, and family dynamics. How do these prepare someone to be a compassionate companion?
I would like to say that because we're state licensed, the topics we cover are all mandatory. So we do have invited speakers, so people don't have to just listen to me for 25 hours. And we also have other topics: stress management, funerals, ethical issues at end of life, and more. And I really feel that it helps the volunteers be more prepared to support their clients, whoever the client's caregivers may be. It makes the volunteers feel a little more comfortable. It doesn't mean that any one of those topics is going to answer all the questions about how to deal with stress. But it does give them an overview of thinking about, when I go into that situation, how can I bring in some calm, some peace, some comfort, and make that client feel safe and able to open up with them. And they can always come back and talk to their classmates or to me about questions or thoughts about any of these topics.
And how did you feel when you first did it, when you first started?
I'm nervous.
Nervous?
Of course, but also comfortable in a lot of ways because I felt well prepared, and I knew that I had good support from both Barb as the director and from everyone else in the hospice organization spread throughout the county.
Right. So you mentioned that no special background is needed. What kinds of people tend to become hospice volunteers?
I was going to say one of the things is there's no type of person.
Okay.
Anyone can do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's been one of the great things is meeting all the different types of hospice volunteers. You have people across the age spectrum, different professions. You know, I had never done anything like this before becoming a hospice volunteer, but you don't need a medical background. I think that's one of the misconceptions. You don't need to have done any caregiving or caretaking in the past. You just need to be compassionate, want to serve your community in a different kind of way, and to be a good listener.
And what was your background before? What are some of the things you've done?
I mean, I've done a lot
Whatever you can't tell us.
Well, no, I mean, I was out of the U.S. for a long time, and kind of doing a variety of different things.
Where did you go?
I went to Jerusalem, Armenia, Turkey, Thailand, Egypt, all around. So I have natural curiosity. I'd say that's another thing, because a lot of people in hospice, they want to tell their stories. They want to talk about their life, their legacy. And so having an appreciation for that is an important part of this as well.
And you can probably entertain them with a little bit with your stories.
Oh, yeah.
They really like that.
Yeah.
We like Ariel said, we don't do any hands-on care. We volunteers do not handle meds. That's all taken care of by very dedicated hospice nurses in this county. I just feel like, how hard is it to help someone wrap Christmas presents or make a little snack for them?
Well, I wrap pretty bad.
Or, read to them, maybe walk their dog, run an errand. Everything a volunteer does, I'm sure that everyone that's listening to this has done for a neighbor or a friend or a relative. And this is just going a little further and making a commitment.
Well, at the same time, our volunteers don't do anything that is out of their comfort zone. No. And so if they don't feel comfortable walking a dog or running an errand, that's fine.
Yeah.
So it's about finding that balance.
All right. So what's the most common misconception about hospice volunteering that you'd like to clear up?
Well, I think people are concerned about, am I going to have to, and I'm going to be very frank, am I going to have to help change diapers? Am I going to have to help clean someone? No. Again, I like to reiterate, we don't do hands-on care, and we never handle meds. Can you think of anything specific that, people would be concerned? Oh, another thing, I think a real misconception is this is not depressing. It's something people don't really realize it. We're really already doing a lot of this. And if a volunteer is in a situation where it does become something that they are having trouble dealing with or facing, they can step back, they can step out of the situation anytime. I mean, have you felt that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think another thing that I've heard from volunteers that they might be concerned about is, what if I'm there when the person passes?
We have a protocol if that happens. So often when people are getting very close, family they don't want anyone there but family. We do have a lot of clients in Washington County, however, that don't have any family. And if they're in a facility, like a boarding home, their only outside visitor is their hospice volunteer. And that may be a situation where the volunteer begins to realize, I want to be there. I want to be holding their hand. I want to be sitting there when they're passing. It's totally up to the volunteer. Yeah.
So even if someone doesn't end up volunteering, how might this training help them support loved ones in their own life?
Oh my goodness. I don't think anybody, and Ariel, I'll ask her how she feels about this. I don't think anybody can leave this training without feeling like they are now more prepared to deal with their own family situations, their own friends that are dealing with complicated health issues. I think that even if someone at the end of the training sadly would decide, but that's okay, that they're not ready to take volunteers, they'll still be very prepared for other things in their own lives.
Yeah, and we do on occasion have people who feel like they want to wait a little bit longer before having a client, which is fine. There's other ways to be involved with Downeast Hospice volunteers. What I found personally after I completed the training was I had a deeper empathy for people who I knew were struggling with illness or reaching the end of their life. In my family, there's people who are dealing with chronic health issues, and I had a little bit more patience and understanding. And also, dementia is on the rise. There's a lot of folks in our area who are touched by that, and I felt myself being a little more, wanting to spend time with them. More awareness.
Yeah, I think a lot of young people should get involved with something like this. So they have a different perspective when they see someone that's in that situation.
And also, not all of our clients are elderly.
Yeah.
We have had clients in their 20s and 30s, and all the way through the whole spectrum. And to another thing that people believe, and to kind of put a little squash on, is I'd say maybe only 50% of our clients have cancer. A lot of clients have other end-stage issues, and on top of that, some dementia. So sometimes with a volunteer who have a lot of patience, every visit is a brand new visit.
So how do you match volunteers with individuals or families, and what does that process look like?
We get a referral, what's called a referral, and that can actually come from the patient. They can actually call Downeast Hospice volunteers up and say, I've been told by my doctors that there's no more treatments, I'm thinking about care in the future, and I'd like to meet a volunteer. We also get referrals from the nursing agency, from the hospitals, the boarding homes. Anyone can make a referral directly to us. And then I go and make a visit, or I've been away for 2 months. Ariel and other volunteers took that on. They went in and made an initial confidential visit. They go and visit with the family. They talk to them about what we can provide and not provide. And then the family says, yes, I'd like to meet a volunteer. And they give us written permission to bring that volunteer into the home.
I think at then that point, we probably, yet again, you were talking about the gaps we have in geography around Washington County. That's a big issue, because first and foremost, we need to see, do we have a volunteer in that area? Oftentimes we don't, and then, we're very lucky to have volunteers who are willing to drive 30, 40 miles to get to that client.
Each way.
So that's a big part of it. And then, trying to match based on personality, what the volunteer is able to do and willing to do, and what the client's needs are.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of different factors that go into it.
And we make it work.
Nice.
We make it work.
What kind of emotional support or guidance do volunteers receive once they're out in the community?
I'm always available. I'm their main contact person if they have any uncomfortable issues in a situation. And I really expect all of the volunteers, they're adults, to at any time say to me, Barbara, I'm going into a situation that I'm just not feeling right about it. And I mean, you would feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah. And we have a big texting relationship.
Yeah. And,
Okay.
We have a lot of contact, the volunteers, I'm always available. We also get support. I can go back to, say, the nursing agency and say, this is going on. What do you guys see? We have a board of directors that's very supportive to both Ariel and myself. Also, when you take this training, you really don't lose contact with the people who have been in that class with you. And then we encourage current volunteers to attend the new trainings to brush up on topics, but to also give support to the new volunteers that are coming on board.
And we have a volunteer appreciation luncheon every year. We work on trying to bring volunteers together just to get to know each other a little bit.
When you've got people from down in Addison and people in Grand Lake Stream, they're not going to meet normally. So when we have these get-togethers, they get a chance to see each other.
All right.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Can you share a story, anonymously, of course, that shows the impact a volunteer has made?
I would like to share a story that brought me on board as a hospice volunteer. I had a friend that was in hospice care in New York, and I was there as a friend. I had known her all my life, and she was very young. She had young children at home. She chose to go to a hospice facility, which we don't have here in Washington County, and her children could bicycle over there every day. And I was watching her relationship with her volunteer, and her volunteer suggested to her to write letters to her boys for all of their milestones. And she wrote letters for them graduating from grammar school and starting high school and all of their graduations and things like their first job and when they started to drive and if they got married. And they were all put in a safe deposit box that her husband gave to these boys as they grew up. And the last letters were presented to them, and I'm going to get choked up, when they had their first child. And this was an incredible legacy, handwritten by her, that the volunteer helped her with. My friend, she wanted beautiful stationery. She wanted a nice pen. And that volunteer spent time with her doing these and getting them all organized. And there's lots of things that we can do like that. But that made me come home from that 3 months and look around Washington County to become a hospice volunteer.
And did you say there was something here like that, volunteers, or not? That was the beginning?
There was. It was very small,
very small.
And we started in 1981.
Okay.
Very small, and this was around 1992.
Okay.
And I became a hospice volunteer, and
Here you are.
here we are. Do you have a story
gonna
you
say.
would like to share?
Geez. I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, I hear a lot from our volunteers because they do let the office know about their visits. It's part of our mandated reporting. So everything is documented, sent to our medical hospice partner. I think one of the favorite things that I hear is we have a volunteer who picks up his client and they go fishing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And they have very relaxing afternoons, just chatting, hanging out. I don't think they catch much.
No, right.
but they have a great
Yeah.
time, and it gets
Right.
someone out and about.
Right.
Yeah, on the water or next to the water.
Not all of our volunteers are bedridden.
Yeah.
They've been given a diagnosis. They've been told there's no more treatments. They can wait till the last minute to go into hospice care, but some clients choose to go in sooner, or they're encouraged, and then they get to do things with their volunteer, go shopping, buy Christmas presents, go fishing, go hiking.
And hospice is a choice, as you mentioned. No one's pushed into it or forced into hospice. Clients can also opt out of hospice. They can leave it.
Yeah.
All right. So if someone's on the fence about signing up, what would you say to encourage them to take that first step to sign up?
I would say we really need everybody who could spare 2 hours. I know jumping through the hoops of getting the training out of the way seems like a big commitment. 10 to 2, that's not very many hours. It is 5 days, but we really, really hope that people will be hearing this today and think, I would really like to spend some time with someone once or twice a week. We also need more guys.
Say, practically speaking, the training can be difficult to fit into a schedule if you're working a full-time job, if you have a busy family life. And so we definitely understand that. We try to work with people because we do have a huge need. There are some employers who, if you let them know you're taking a hospice training, will actually be able to schedule around you. We've had people do that in the past. So as far as that, we know it's a challenge. We try to work with you. Please reach out if you have any questions. As far as taking the training itself, it can only help you. I highly recommend it.
Yeah. I really hope that if people have questions, or if you're listening to me right now and you're looking at the schedule, the dates are October 20th, 23rd, 24th, 28th, and 29th. If there's one of those days that you cannot make it, we'll make it work for you.
All right. All right. Is there anything else you guys want to add?
I'd like to leave our number at the office. Please call if you have any questions at 207-454-7521, extension 9126, or email us at
info@downeasthospice.org.
And you can also download an application from our website at www.downeasthospicevolunteers.org. We do need to do a short conversation with you before you take the training. So if you're thinking about it, get your application, get it back to us, and I'll sit down with you, or Ariel will sit down with you for a few minutes.
What are some of the things you guys ask on the application?
Well, we kind of let them ask questions.
Okay.
Yeah, more of that.
Okay,
yeah.
What are some questions I should ask?
Some people, even after they've heard this, will say, how much of a commitment do I have to make? I'm a snowbird. They might say that. I'm only here part of the year. That's perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of volunteers that are snowbirds. They might say, I have my grandchildren for a whole month in the summer. That's fine. What everyone has to remember is the word volunteer. You can pick your area, you can pick your time that's convenient for you. You can come and go as long as we know when you're not available and when you come back. We want people to do this. We want people to come on board. And it's also, the training is very informal, it's very casual, and we do not give homework.
All right. Barbara Barnett, Executive Director of Downeast Hospice Volunteers, and
Ariel Richardson, Executive Assistant and Hospice Volunteer.
All right. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.